Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to this live webinar. It is the continuation of the content collaboration between Property Tribes and Lendlord. Earlier this week, Lendlord announced a partnership with TMW Mortgage Works, which is one of the biggest mortgage lenders, very, very popular with Property Tribes members. I have a couple of TMW mortgages myself, and we're joined by Simon and Darren. So welcome along to the webinar, guys. Simon, if I could come to you first, could you just give us a quick overview of TMW, where you are in the buy-to-let space, a little bit about your products?
I'm pleased to hear that you've got some TMW products yourself. Hopefully you're an ambassador, but we are part of the Nationwide Building Society, so we are part of a big organisation, obviously the world's biggest building society, and in terms of buy-to-let lender, we're the UK's largest, so we are a big organisation. What makes us unique is we do like to look after portfolio landlords, and that's where we've seen Lendlord as a great attribute to work alongside TMW as well. As an organisation, we've been around, just over 30 years now. So yeah, we've been around quite a bit of time, a little bit longer than Lendlord, but yeah, no, we're pleased about the things going forward.
You mentioned focusing on the portfolio landlord. You really have some fantastic niche products that can help landlords grow.
We offer all different types of products when it comes to things such as purchase, remortgage, further advance, limited companies. We're not currently offering HMOs, but we do hope to bring those back in the near future. It's just a temporary measure with COVID. In terms of portfolios, we are unique when it comes to TMW as a lender as opposed to others. We don't have a limit on the number of properties that somebody can have. So that does set us apart from other lenders. We'll have an overall lending exposure limit in terms of monetary value, but when it comes to number of properties, that's not a problem.
Fantastic. Well, there will be a chance at the end of the webinar to ask Simon and Darren some questions. Avram, if I could just come to you now. The partnership between TMW and Lendlord, could you just explain a little bit about how it came about?
Yeah, for us, we are very excited from this collaboration and partnership. For us, it's like a natural evolvement of the Lendlord platform. What we did since inception, we started to analyze the engine, analyze portfolios, and match them to different lenders. I think that now when we have TMW on board, so first we can make the total assessment much more accurate with the collaboration with both teams, and then of course make the application process. And it's like today we launched the first phase of that, but we have plans like in the future that basically this is like one of our goals, that if you maintain your data in a data management platform and you do it like on an ongoing basis in a digital way, there are benefits for that. And a lot of the data that the lenders require are can be like accessible like in 1 minute if you use Lendlord. And of course, in the future, we'll do like more things in order to help landlords achieve their finance goals. And collaborating with, I think it's the largest buy-to-let lender in the UK. It's a great value for our users, and the combination of first finding if you're eligible to a product, and the second thing, see like what products are available for you from TMW, and then immediately after that, jump on a call with the direct team. I think it's a great advantage, and of course, a great way to accelerate and grow your property business.
I think what's really interesting is that TMW approached Lendlord, and I think that's kind of a testament to what TMW think of the platform. I was wondering, Simon, have TMW got other collaborations direct with a software platform, or is this something of a first for TMW?
No, this is the only one, Vanessa. So yeah, this is a first. This is unique.
That's great to know. And Darren, what do you think of the collaboration between TMW and Lendlord? Are you excited about what it's going to deliver for landlords?
As Simon touched on, yeah, very excited to have Lendlord on board, because we are big in helping our portfolio landlords. So I think the synergy with Lendlord in terms of them having a portfolio, possibly large portfolio landlords, we can certainly partner well with. I'm sure all the listeners will know that when an applicant gets to 3 or 4 property stroke mortgages, they tend to shy away and they're no longer able to help them. As Simon touched on, we don't have that restriction. Yes, we'll cap loan to values a little bit when borrowing gets to a certain level within the group, and yes, there is a maximum lend, of course, but however, there's no upper limit to the amount of property stroke mortgages a customer can have with us. So I think that will work very well with a company like Lendlord.
I'll come back to Simon, actually. Simon, what would you say are the benefits of this direct application process that we're going to see in a moment?
The benefits of this, obviously, Lendlord users will know how intuitive the Lendlord system is, and if, as Ram was just saying just now, if you have all of your property details loaded into there, as part of our underwriting process, we do need to take into consideration applicants' overall exposure, what other properties they have, what lending, etc., and what rental income as a whole across their portfolio, not just the individual property that we're looking at. Because of that, the Lendlord system is really, really clever in that you can just export your portfolio into an Excel. You could just send that straight into Darren, for example. He can then use that to assist underwriting to ensure that your application's underwritten swiftly, and then come back to you with obviously a response to say, yep, fantastic news, we're progressing to valuation and mortgage offer. In the long term, we look to be able to offer landlords a facility where they'll be able to understand upfront sort of pre-approved lending, should we call it, so they'll know that actually, do you know what, TMW have looked at my portfolio, they can see I've got these properties, they can see what my exposure is, what my rental income is, and they're happy to lend me an additional, for example, 100,000 or whatever it might be, if I can just go and find another property to buy to add to that portfolio. So at the moment, it's fantastic in that it assists us to get things done quickly, but looking in the future, there's much more that this can do.
Yes, this is kind of the first stage of the cooperation between TMW and Lendlord, and lots of potential to do other really cool things based around this tech. Darren, on the left-hand side there, we can see the portfolio loan to value, which is very, very important when it comes to applying for finance and being eligible for it. Does TMW have, a preferred portfolio LTV that you don't like to lend if it's above that?
We do. So it depends on. Can you hear me clearly again?
I can, yes.
Perfect. So it depends on the size of the portfolio. So up to 10 mortgages in the portfolio, then we want to look at an average LTV across it of 75%, no more than that. As soon as it goes over the 10, then we want to look at a maximum of 65% loan to value. That's where we're comfortable.
So we'll go back to the demo now, and Avram's just going to once again show you how having all your data already inputted into the Lendlord software will actually speed up the process of applying directly to TMW for lending.
Yes. Okay. So on my portfolio, go to the mortgage view, take a look on the data. If you miss anything, just hover over the property row, click edit, go to the mortgage fields, and then you can tweak the data and the missing information. So after you take care of the data, you see that everything is set up. Go to the available lenders link. Okay, so just click on it. It's like near the title of my portfolio. And there in one click, basically, the engine analyzes your portfolio. It stress tests your portfolio. It checks the portfolio LTV. And then you can see which lenders are available for you for a new mortgage, which lenders or a remortgage, which lenders are not, and what is the reason. So And then it also applies for a different applicants. So if I apply as John, this is my situation. If John and Kate applies together, then they owns a different portfolio. Then other options might be relevant, or other options like are not relevant. A lot of mainstream lenders will not lend, let's say, like above 10 properties, 10 buy-to-let mortgages. So you can see it as well. So you can also play with that. So this is the first phase, and for like our, because today you can see like if Team W is in this list. Then after that, go to the mortgage search page. On the mortgage search, you can run a specific query for a specific case. Okay, so you can first choose if you apply as a company. This is like, by the way, company use case, or if you apply as an individual. If it's an individual, click on the edit icon, and you can choose if you want to apply as John, Kate, or Kate and John together. Now choose if the application type, if it's a purchase or if you want to remortgage, with capital raising or without capital raising. And if you choose a remortgage, then you have your list, the list of properties from your My Portfolio. So you just need to put the property, and the platform will put all the relevant other fields automatically from your My Portfolio. So let's, for the example, take a purchase case, a new mortgage. So you need to put the estimated property value. It's for, like, we did it like in other webinars, but you have, you can use our online estimation for your property value. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, but it can give you indication. And then put the required loan, what is the expected monthly rental income? Is it an HMO property or not? Required years of the mortgage, let's put 25. The type, I will go with fixed. Let's check 2 years fixed, and I want interest only. Then you click on the search button. It takes a few seconds, and you will see the results. So this is like if you apply with Kate and John. Let's say if I apply just with John, perhaps I will get different rates. So it's also important to see what are the applicants, and then to see the products. Okay, so now like if I apply just with John, I see better rates, and I can see also the other lenders. If you scroll down, you can also check if you apply as a company. If you own more than one company, you can also check on a specific company, click search, and then you will get the results. So this is the way to get the specific product. Now, the next step is how to apply. So I will show it, but before, one important thing that Simon mentioned. So when you speak with a lender, and Simon and Darren will elaborate more on the process of engaging with the direct team of Team W, but also when you speak with a broker, there are some data that they need to assess, they need to take a look at. So on My Portfolio, if you switch to the mortgage view and then just click on export to Excel button, then in one click you have your portfolio table with just the fields from this view in an Excel spreadsheet, and you can send it over to the advisor that you speak with Team W, but also if you apply with other broker or other lender. So basically you have this data available in one click. If you apply to our online bridging lender, you can also store in a secure your documents that's relevant to the underwriting process. And this is the next phase, the next step also with Team W. So you'll also have other ways to download your data and send it over. One important note, because many, like several users asking us, we are not passing on your details to any third party without, so this is like an action you need to take. So this is very important. It's not integrated perhaps it will be in the future to TMW systems. You need for now, like in this phase, to download the data, and when you speak with TMW, to share it with them. Now, the last step is how to apply and schedule a call. So you have a button, Direct Apply. If you click on it, you will get the booking page of TMW Direct Team. Before I touch on this page, I will mention that one of the benefits to apply through Landlord is rather than the fact that you can see like the eligibility and the rates, that you can earn cashback. So the way we monetize, one of the ways we monetize the platform is with commissions. So we get compensated by TMW and we share some of this commission with you. So once you get to the booking page, and there are some few notes, important notes here. So you can choose either if like apply for a mortgage, or if you want to reassess your eligibility. That of course, what we suggest is not, it's not like 100% truth. So basically, this is like an engine assessment. You need to assess the results, of course, with the team. And then you can book the time that you want. You can also see a specific advisor. Now, if you have some urgent needs and you don't see, and you want to schedule a call for tomorrow because there is something that you need to do immediately, it's not a problem. Just contact us. You can, or like the user that knows how to approach me directly, or just use this chat box. Write the message that you want, you need an urgent call with TMW, and we will arrange the introduction to Simon, and I think also John, that is a manager in TMW, that can accelerate the process and arrange a call before the dates that are available in the booking platform. This is very important. And then you need to put the names. As I said, we are not passing on your details without your awareness. So you need to put it again. Next step perhaps will be like some automation around that. And last, an important thing is to select Landlord in the drop down of this question, how did you hear about the mortgage works? This is the way we attribute your case to Landlord. You can earn your cashback, and you can basically, the advisor of TMW is aware that you have a Landlord account, so you can use the data for your application process. So this is it. It's very straightforward. Once you upload the portfolio, and we just released this week a way to upload your portfolio with a CSV. If we have time in the end, perhaps I will show like a quick demonstration of that. But once you do that, in few clicks, as you see, you can see TMW results, and you can apply and schedule a call directly with TMW. And this is the demo.
Thank you very much for that, Avriram. I'd just like to go to Darren, actually, just to talk a little bit more about what happens once the Lendlord user has gone through that process. Darren, essentially what the user has done there has done a kind of very light overview of what product they might be eligible for, but of course they'll then have to go through the actual full underwriting process. And I was just wondering if you could maybe talk a little bit about that. And is it a case of the computer says no, or do you look at each case kind of individually, if there are any things that are slightly, non-standard, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the benefits of us having this direct service to landlords, to customers, is that it's not simply a case of computer says no. We can have a proper conversation with people. We can find out what's going on in the background, and then we can speak to an underwriter directly. which often brokers can't. I know that from personal experience. I used to be a broker myself. Obviously, with a broker, it tends to be a 2 or 3 step process in that they would have to refer to a BDM, who then might have to refer to a case owner or an underwriter. Of course, here in the direct department, working with TMW, we can contact the underwriters directly. And to come back to your question, yeah, it's not simply a one case fits all. I've had a couple of cases recently whereby I was able to contact an underwriter friend and colleague of mine, discuss a case with him. It was a little bit unusual in terms of what we would normally do. And after a bit of a conversation with him, he said, okay, I think that's something that we can consider. And then I was able to put that case forward. So no, we can have that, that kind of one-on-one, more personal service, if you like, with our customers.
I'm sure, that's very important to you, because we've mentioned at the beginning that you are looking to build long-term relationships with landlords throughout their investment career and growing their portfolios. And, everybody has very, very different circumstances. And I know from a landlord point of view, it is very frustrating when you come up against the computer says no. So it's good to know that there is a human there, and that you are looking at slightly unusual circumstances. And no doubt if somebody had an explanation for something that didn't quite fit with you and you could verify that, as you say, you would consider it.
Absolutely. We can always put something to the underwriter and see if it can be considered.
That's good to know. Simon, I was going to ask you about, we know that the government kind of direction of travel is to professionalise the landlord sector and the private rented sector. One of the things that we've kind of been suggesting about Lendlord is that it is operating your business in a professional manner and treating it as a business, which it most definitely is. From your perspective as a lender, does it give you encouragement to know that a landlord is using these tools and professionalizing their business through a platform or portal such as Lendlord?
Yes, absolutely, Vanessa, and we're fully aware of what the government are doing in terms of changes and trying to make to ultimately give that more professional appearance to things, and to ensure that people are following standards and processes. And we want to help landlords to do that. The Lendlord system, it is very clever. The algorithms and everything that are built into there, it's not, it does show us that somebody who's using that to manage their portfolio is, chances are, a professional landlord. And that's why we want to be involved with Lendlord, because as a lender, we want to ensure that we are working with professional landlords, that we are raising the bar in terms of the standards, etc. And partnering up with Lendlord on that basis enables us to grow that even further. So absolutely.
Yes, I think it's really great if landlords that do professionalise their business can be rewarded in some way by maybe a faster, smoother application or something of that nature. And that's kind of definitely feeding into that. Avaram, could you just remind us how often the products on the platform are updated? Because you've got a direct source of all of your associated lenders feeding into the Lendlord software, and that is updating. But I'm going somewhere with this, but so I want to know how often does it update? Can you just remind us?
Yeah, it should be almost like instantly, but because it's not something that we do by ourselves. This is like the rates. We are like counting on like a different sourcing platform. There might be delays, so we can guarantee that the rate that you see is right now the rate that you will get, but the chances, I would say, like 90% or even 95%. This is the thing. I think that the first thing you need to do is the eligibility, and this is something that we try to update on a weekly basis. And now, once we start this relationship with TeamW, perhaps we can also share with them like what the platform now recommend and even adjust it more. And this should be something that you do first. Now the rates might change, and because that you have the call with the TeamW team, but like I think 95% should be like the same rate that you see that is now available in the market, because there are sourcing platforms today out there. They get a direct feed from the lenders, so they need to be up to date.
Yeah.
And we are connected to them. We are not collecting the rates by ourselves, by the way. The criteria is something that we do by ourselves.
Well, the reason for asking is because, you know, rates are updating all the time, lenders are bringing out new products all the time. And I personally had an interesting scenario, you know, in the last couple of weeks. About 3 weeks ago, I wanted to release some equity. And 3 weeks ago, there wasn't a product that I actually met the criteria for to allow me to do that. And this week, a product has come out. Unfortunately, it's not TMW, it's home loans. And they've got a product that actually that fits one of my properties, and I can release some equity. And Simon, I think this is another important point to note about the partnership, because what Avram has demonstrated there is how quickly you can do a search on, you know, products that are available on that day. And if you don't meet any criteria, that shouldn't put you off. You should still maybe contact TMW direct if you want to talk it through, but you should keep coming and trying to run the process, because a product might be released that you actually, you know, can work with. So I think it's very exciting to have this opportunity to constantly test the products out there to see, you know, what's there for you with your individual circumstances. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. And if you just think back to that demonstration that Avram kindly did with the appointment booking facility there, and he touched on that there was that 30-minute slot where you can check eligibility and criteria. So if you do have any questions, you could always book that 30-minute slot, have a conversation directly with a member of the team, such as Darren, and talk about that eligibility and just see if actually is it something we can still help with, just because it doesn't tick every single box. But you're right, products are changing all the time. We've literally just this week released our new green range of products, which are designed to help landlords to you know, move up the energy performance ratings of their properties, etc. And the interest rates on those are phenomenal, and certainly a lot lower than what you might find with other products. So yeah, as you say, everything's changing, but just ask the question. We're here, we're on the end of the phone. Just give us a shout.
Because we have something that perhaps it's worth just to show, like 2 minutes, that the engine of Lendlord runs every week to find remortgage opportunities for you. So if there are other products that are available, it should catch them. This example that I show, it's actually a product that is about to expire. So first you can see what rate you can get now from the same lender, like what is the rate that you can switch for. If you're not doing that, you will be reverted to the SVR rate. Usually it's much higher rate. And if you click on remortgage, you can see, so in this point, usually you don't have early redemption fees, or if you want to remortgage, perhaps there is opportunity. You will need to pay the fees for the new product, but it might be worth. And if it is, you will see it like in Lendlord, and then you can also you know, like make better, perhaps like to switch to a different lender as well at this point. And you can also take a look perhaps on capital raising if something has changed in terms of the property value or anything like in your entire portfolio. So basically, we do it for our users. So like there is an engine that runs every week, and if it's like in the middle of the fixed period, we will calculate the early redemption fees. And just if we see that you can save money, we will recommend it. And if not, you can run it, of course, by yourself in the mortgage search. But in the insights page, you can see all the opportunities for each property in terms of rate switch, if it's like come to an end, or a remortgage.
Yeah, fantastic. While I've got the mortgage guys, before we go to the questions, which we've got a few coming in, guys, maybe go to you, Darren. One of the controversial topics on Property Tribes is lenders' view of bounce back loans. And I was just curious, while I had you on this webinar, what is TMW's view on an investor having taken a bounce back loan? Because we've had one high street bank today announce that if they find out that you've taken a bounce back loan, they will not that it will massively affect your affordability, because let's say you took a 50k bounce back loan, the monthly payment is about £930 a month. So this particular high street lender is going to discount your eligibility by £930 a month, which could have a huge impact on how much you can borrow. What is TMW's view on lending to investors who have either taken bounce back loans or SIBLs, or maybe a self-employment grant?
So yeah, TMW doesn't share that same view. So if a landlord has taken a bounce back loan, we're okay with that. For us, it doesn't actually get factored into personal income or outgoings, because we're not really concerned with that as a lender. We focus primarily on the figures for the property, so the rental income, etc. All that we ask is that it's not being used as deposit for any new buy-to-let purchase. But in terms of an applicant taking a bounce back loan, if it's been taken for the right reasons to assist them when their business has gone through a tough time during COVID, etc., we have no issue with that.
That's very helpful to know. Thank you.
Hello?
Okay, should we go to
no problem.
questions? Les from the Sahara, he's working, he's not on holiday. He says he already has a mortgage with TMW. He says it's a great service. He's delighted to see them on Lendlord, and he will certainly be using them again, using TMW again via the Lendlord platform. So thank you, Les, for your support of Lendlord, because as we've mentioned, the platform is monetized by commissions from lenders. So if you are enjoying your free use of the Lendlord platform, one way that you can show how much you appreciate it is to use the products and service that generate a commission for Lendlord. Bhavan says, what would be the lending criteria, i.e. for 85% LTV mortgage rates, or only traditional products like 75%?
Well, actually, that's a very simple and short answer, because TMW currently do not offer 85% loan to value. Our maximum loan to value is actually 75% anyway.
Thank you. That is a short and sweet answer there. Lucy would like to know, are the 10 property limits on people owning in their own name? How is it with part portfolio in their own name and part portfolio in a limited company?
It's included. So regardless of whether they're owned in personal name or the name of the limited company, we still include them in the overall 10 assessment, if that makes sense.
Okay. Lucy has another question. Can we remortgage to the same lender for capital release, or is it always a different company? How many properties would you need to have so the lender would stop considering private income, and is it different in a limited company?
Yeah, so a common kind of confusion with the terminology there. So it's only a remortgage if, as she's touched on there, as Lucy's touched on there, you take your mortgage to a different lender, then it's a quote-unquote remortgage. And then you could do some capital raising along the way to take some equity out if you wanted or needed it. If you stay with the same lender, it tends to be called a further advance. So it's not a remortgage, it's a further advance, which means you take some additional borrowing against the property, which will then run alongside the main or parent account, if you want to use that term, and it will typically then have its own set of terms. So its own individual interest rate, 2 or a 5-year fixed rate, mortgage term, monthly payment, etc.
Yes, and further advance is a very simple, straightforward way to release equity from a property. Actually, not that many lenders do further advances anymore, but from what you're saying, Darren, is that something that TMW considers?
Very much so, Vanessa. It's a very straightforward and easy application with us as well, because unlike, albeit in my opinion, and I know I'm biased when I say this, it is a very straightforward and relatively short application process to most lenders out there, I think, certainly in my experience, but with a further advance, even more so, because by that point, we already hold most of the information we need about the applicant and the security. And therefore, our further advanced application form essentially asks for just a recap on the customer's personal details, a figure for their income, not that there is a minimum income requirement, but we take it nonetheless, and a contact for the surveyor. And that is essentially our further advanced application. It would take us 20 minutes to half an hour on the telephone. So a very straightforward application process, I'd say.
Fantastic. Bhavan has got a question which is really just generally about the Lendlord platform. Does the lending options include for mixed-use properties or holiday lets, Aviram?
Currently not, but it's in the roadmap. I have to say something about the in the roadmap thing, because Vanessa, I think we received this message as well from a user that we're going to release, launch next week, the application to the accounting software Zero. And many users asked for that, and we said it's in the roadmap. And then he said, "Oh, so in the roadmap is happening." So yeah, it's in plan. We don't source products for holiday lets, but it's interesting to hear about. But you can. This is the thing now. You can set a call anyway with TMW Direct Team through our platform and check your options. Even if you don't get the product in Landlord. So for holiday lets, I think this is the best way to do. Just schedule. Perhaps Darren or Simon can relate to that in terms of the TMW options, if it's there.
So you guys don't do holiday lets, do you?
We don't. The option's not there with us. We don't have mortgages, nor do we lend on properties which will be let on a kind of short-term basis, stroke holiday let, Airbnb, etc. It's not our thing at this moment in time. May that change in the future, possibly, but at this moment in time, it's not something that we're interested in lending in.
No, just really generally about holiday lets, there's only a handful of lenders that actually offer them. Leeds Building Society is one of the biggest ones in that niche sector. The loan to values tend to be lower and the rates can be slightly higher. So you could, if you need a holiday let mortgage, you can just go direct to the Lendlord broker, which is Windfall Finance, and they would be able to help you with that if you wanted to go down the holiday let route, as indeed many landlords are choosing to do at the moment. Okay, this is a good one actually. Ada Toro would like to know, does TMW have mortgage products for properties that would be leased to social housing, such as housing associations and councils?
It's not that we have specific mortgage products for those. Our mortgage products are our mortgage products. It's just whether or not we will lend based on a particular type of tenancy. And the short answer to that is yes, we can consider local councils, for example, or even housing associations, but we have a permitted list, if you like. Certainly with the housing association. So we would need to check the housing association in that particular area, and then we can determine whether or not we would be happy to consider lending on a property that will be let via a tenancy agreement with that housing association. So it's something that we can consider.
Fantastic. I'll come to you, Simon, for this next one. Dev is saying Lendlord is really good. He would like to ask you, what is the appetite for lending at the moment, especially in these COVID-19 times? He's currently looking at refinancing 25 properties which are currently moving to an SPV. Is that something that TMW would have an appetite for?
Yes, Vanessa, it is. We do agree with his references to Lendlord being really good as well. So we're in agreement there, Deb. But yes, it's quite an interesting question actually, because I'm glad you touched on the bit around COVID, because if we can all cast our minds back to when we went into that, I think it was first or second lockdown, sort of spring, summertime last year, a lot of lenders, you would no doubt have remembered, sort of closed their doors to lending and decided that actually they weren't taking in new business. TMW was actually different. We carried on lending. It was actually one of our busiest times. We actually grew our market share to 25%. So it was a busy time for TMW. And we do absolutely have an appetite during COVID-19, or if even it's not COVID-19, we are there and our doors are open and we want to do business.
If somebody came to you with looking to remortgage 25 properties, you would almost certainly, I imagine, appoint them a special, contact directly at TMW to facilitate that process.
Absolutely. The advantage of dealing with the direct team in TMW is that you do have that one individual that you can speak to. You've seen from the appointment booking facility, you can select that individual. So let's just say, for example, Darren is your mortgage consultant. You can deal with Darren today. You can do a mortgage or a couple of mortgages, whatever you want to do. But you can come back to him in 3 months' time and you can use him again. You'll have his direct email. You'll be able to dial a number, comes straight through to the team. And we do like to keep that one point of contact for our customers.
No, I think that's so helpful when somebody actually understands you, gets to know what you're trying to do, and has insights into your business. It can just really help smooth the process. Okay, let's have a look. Paul, who is on his iPad, he's saying, I have remortgaged an existing buy-to-let as well as taken a new mortgage to purchase an additional buy-to-let with TMW via a broker 4 weeks ago. Okay, I don't think that's a question. I think Paul's just saying that he's already working with TMW. How are you managing with processing times, guys? Because I expect a lot of you are still working from home at the moment.
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely. As you can see behind me, I am working from home, but it hasn't slowed us down. If anything, it's sped us up. Certainly, from my point of view, I've, as Simon said, we've had a very busy year. COVID has brought in a lot of business to us, primarily because, as Simon said, whilst a lot of lenders were perhaps shying away, we were still, our doors were open as normal. And so much so that I've had some of my record months in the past year in terms of customers helped and applications submitted whilst I've been working from home in these COVID times. Turnaround times at the minute, they've certainly come down since before Christmas. So now we are looking at around 4 weeks, give or take, from application to mortgage offer, but there have been many cases recently where the turnaround time has been far quicker than that, where we've had cases go through from application to mortgage offer in as little as 1 week. So depending on the loan to value, the ease, the time frame in terms of applicants getting documents to us, etc., and of course the all important survey, if a physical survey needs to be done, we can turn things around very quickly.
Dev is saying he's self-employed, so for tax efficiency, his income is some salary and some from dividends. He's asking what salary is acceptable to TMW for lending criteria. Do you have a minimum salary?
No, Dev, we don't. So there is no minimum income or personal salary requirement here at TMW.
That's good to know. Bhavan has said, Aviram, you do realise that Lendlord platform has set the bar very high, and he says he can envisage bank accounts and insurance products and all sorts of other things being added into the Lendlord ecosystem. So yes, that's a lovely compliment, Bhavin. Thank you very much. And Avram, hat tip to you for everything that you're doing with Lendlord. It's very clear from what the guys at TMW have been saying, what an impressive piece of software it is, and it's revolutionising how landlords can manage their finances and their portfolios.
Thank you, Pavan. Thank you, Vanessa. Yeah, I think this is the thing. Like, if you manage your data on a digital way in one place, you can get many benefits, and this is what we are starting to build, like an ecosystem that can fulfill many needs, like with smart insights. So yeah, happy to hear that. Thank you.
Yes, it's very great to see that TMW has given Lendlord the seal of approval, shall we say, and that you're the first fintech platform that they've worked with. So, sorry, I'm just reading these questions on the fly, so forgive me if I have to have a quick look. Katie said it's a great webinar. Thank you, Katie. We really appreciate your feedback. I must say, I think it's fantastic that we've got the guys from TMW here. This is all part of what Lendlord and Property Tribes have tried to do, is to create an educational ecosystem where we can bring in specialists and experts and lenders, and really give you a really thorough understanding of a particular topic. And I think it's just great that we've had the TMW guys tonight. I found it very interesting, just with my own landlord hat on. So I think it's really fantastic to see them on this call. Katie's question was, what is TMW's stance on landlords with properties in their own name as opposed to a company? Given that Section 24 is now fully integrated into sole trader tax regime, do you guys have a view, or does TMW have a view on if you have a preference for sole trader or limited company?
We do not. I think we keep things quite simple in that, we fully appreciate and understand that we are a mortgage lender. We're not tax experts or specialists. And so we leave that up to the applicant to seek suitable advice and guidance from their solicitor or their accountant, of course, and we tend not to get involved in that. We're happy to lend to either personal, in the personal name of an applicant, or of course a limited company. The taxation and the guidelines around that and information around that, we leave up to them.
I'm just mindful of the time now. We're coming to the end here. If you've got any further questions that you would like answered, you can of course ask them on Property Tribes. I will be posting this recording of this webinar tomorrow on Property Tribes if you want to review it, and you can answer any questions there, and I'm sure we can get any answers for any further TMW questions via the guys and answer you on Property Tribes should you require any further information. But as we close this out, Aviram, have you got any just final thoughts for this evening's webinar?
Yes, just I think, as I started, I think it's very exciting collaboration, great value to the Lendlord users. So if you don't have an account yet, go and create your free account for Lendlord. And for our old users and avid users, just start to search. If you look for a finance, use the mortgage search and apply directly with TMW if you see the results from them. And thank you everyone for joining, and also want to thank Simon and Darren for sharing the time and participate, and for you, Vanessa, for the great hosting as always.
Thank you. Guys, have you enjoyed being able to talk directly to landlords this evening? Because I think it's been absolutely great. I've really, really valued your input. I think you've added so much to this call and this format that we do, because normally it's just myself and Aviram. So it's really, really great to have yourselves bringing all the TMW information and expertise to the call. Have you enjoyed it?
Very much so. Yeah, it's been really good. It's great to see as well such positive comments about TMW and Lendlord and the collaboration. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And Simon?
Yeah, absolutely agree. It's exciting times ahead, as Avram's just said, but it's also really great to come and see as many of you as possible and to talk to you, and hopefully share some great stories to come.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we can do this again, guys. But for now, I just want to say thank you to everybody for watching this evening. Thank you for all the lovely positive comments and feedback coming in on the chat. The whole team here really do appreciate it. As I mentioned, we'll be on Property Tribes tomorrow with the recording. And if you've got any questions, of course, for Lendlord, you can go onto the Lendlord platform and use the chat bot, or you can indeed schedule a call with Avram and his team. And if you've got a large portfolio and you feel that you would benefit from a personal introduction to Lendlord, you can of course do that. So lots of ways to connect and interact with Lendlord and indeed TMW. But for now, I'm just saying thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I wish you a pleasant rest of the evening.